Hi, today's video is a handover video for our brand new Axopar 37 Color Nova 2, so you feel comfortable on board, you know what to do at what time. Come with me, I'll show you some things. So yeah, first thing when jumping on board is I want to check that the boat is undamaged. We have the chance now, the propellers are up and we're just gonna look at the propellers, they're non-damaged. We just have a overview over the boat. If you see any damages, especially as a boat member, take a picture and send it to the WhatsApp group, so we know about the actual damages. Second, we're gonna take off the shore power. Shore power is disconnected already. Make sure you disconnect on land first before taking the the shore power onto the boat. And as we uncovered this boat already a little bit earlier, we're just gonna show you how to uncover the boat. Important is when uncovering, take the covers, fold them together and store them away. Just don't make a big huge mess. Fold them nicely and put them in the aft storage. After this is done, we're gonna come to the cockpit area, and first step for us to do is to switch on the main switches. On this boat we have 4 main switches, one for each engine. Then we have a service main switch, and we have heavy AUX for both thruster and the anchor. Slide this one down so you can press on all 4 main switches. Now the boat is powered. The keys are in the ignition, so it doesn't matter which one you use for which. You can use both keys on both, and you can put them into the on position. After checking you have the engines, you can trim down on this button. As well, you could trim them down individually on starboard or port trim to trim them down. We're going to hold these buttons as long as the engine is completely down, and we notice that the noise changes, so we're sure the engines are all the way down. Next, these displays are still in German. I'm going to show you quickly how to change the language. So we go into settings, which is on the top left. We press the settings key. Now we have this settings sign. We press again. And then comes the system. I know it's in German, but still you should figure out Sprache. Deutsch means language. So you press here and you change it to English. It says the system will restart. This is fine. We do the same with the other display. Again settings, Sprache, English. System will restart, and now we have the system in English. Trimming down the engines, we can then start the engines just by a quick twist, and we have here in our vessel view display, which is controlling our engine, we can see our starboard engine and our port engine. Starboard and port are both in idle, around 700 rounds per minute. On the left of this, you see neutral, so means the gear is neutral, or we have an F for forward or an R for reverse. On the top here, it says system OK. Means the engine checked everything. It has enough oil, the oil pressure is good, temperatures are good, so it says system OK. If there's any failure, the failure is going to show up here and going to tell you what's the problem. Next, here in the middle between starboard and port engine, you have the fuel. you can tap on the fuel and it's going to tell you how much fuel there's left in the tank. It says here 141 liters. This is a rough gauge, so it should always be full. If the tank is not full, take a quick picture and let us know how much fuel you had in the tank when you took over the boat. How do we connect our phone to the music? After powering the remote for the music on the red button here, you can choose which source you want to have. By pressing it, you can choose between Bluetooth, auxiliary, AM and FM. We want to have Bluetooth right now, so that's right. Language is now in German. If you want to change it, you press the system settings, and the lowest one is Einstellungen, which means configuration, and then you scroll down to Sprache, and there you choose English, and the system will now reset to English. And it says Bluetooth, select device. So now we can take our phone, go into Bluetooth, and because it's for us, it's a new device, we want to go in the system here and say discoverable. You see there's no tick on the discoverable, so it's important to tick discoverable. Now it's selected, and when you go into your phone now, it's going to show up as a new device, and you just press new device and it can pair with the phone. So after a minute it says verbunden or connected, and you can play music from here. As well, you have the same controls that you have on the remote, you have here on your display. Under the tab audio, you can as well control volume and all the settings from the radio. With a very powerful bow thruster, we have two ways to control it. One with the joystick here or with our remote. Both have to be switched on by pressing two on buttons on the same time, and you can see it's on. To use it, you press to the left or you press to your right. The same on the remote. After switching it on with the two on, you press left or you press right. The bow thruster, same as the remote, disconnects after a minute more or less. Otherwise, you press off to switch it off. Helm setup on our Axopar 37 Calanova. You have the steering wheel, which is adjustable. So depending on your comfortable position, you can bring the steering wheel up and down. For the seat, you have a standing position, what I really like to use, or as well, you can use, you can flip it down and be in a seating position. Next to the steering helm, or to the helm, we have our trim tabs. They have no indicator, so we have to, while we're using them, see what they're doing. To push the joystick up, it sets the trim tabs, which, as the picture shows, puts down our nose. So if we're driving against small choppy waves, what we want to do is put the flaps all the way in to bring the nose as far down as possible to avoid slamming. Once we're going with the waves, we want to bring the trim tabs all the way back up to avoid the nose diving in. We talked about this. We talked about the vessel view. On the very top, on the left hand side, that's where we have all the light controls. We have underwater light, we have roof light, we have deck lights, and as well navigation lights if you're driving in the dark. On the right hand side, we have important the horn. Then we have the bilges. They are automatic bilge pumps, but as well we can activate them manually. They're always switched on as soon as you have water coming into the boat. The bilge pump gonna pump the water out. Doesn't matter if you have activated them here manually or not. Wiper is our windscreen wiper. That's pretty obviously. There's no window wash on this boat because you would just wash your face. Other than that, we have the option to connect two USB cables here for charging. They plug in facing up. And that's 2 chargers. There are another 2 chargers inside of the cabin, which I'm going to point out once we're in the cabin. This boat has 2 drawer fridges, one on the port side under the co-driver's seat and one on the starboard side under the driver's seat. They should be on when you come on board. If they're not on, you have the control here on your right hand side to turn them on. For storage purposes, you have under the table on either port or on starboard side, you have a big locker to fit your personal belongings in, as well as you can use the front cabin or the main storage in the very back. If you arrive at your destination and you want to drop down the anchor, we have 2 possibilities. We have the remote for the anchor and we have a button in the front. So we're going to go to the very front to check the anchor. Open the anchor hatch and feel free to step into the anchor locker. We have 2 safeties. First one secures the chain, second one secures the anchor. So we open both of them. And then we have the remote on the other side. To switch on the remote, you press once, it starts beeping. To confirm, you press another time, and now the windlass is activated. Anchor down, pretty obviously, so you press the button down. Anchor up would be the white button. The chain is marked every 5 meters. We have a blue marking, so you actually know how much chain you put out. You want to drop at least 3 times the water depth as the anchor chain length. Good. When bringing the anchor back up, you can do this as well with the remote. To activate the remote, you press the 2 on buttons, and then you have 2 anchor buttons. This one is anchor up, this one is anchor down. So we want to bring the anchor up. Be here in the front and always have a look that the chain doesn't touch the boat. If the anchor comes up in a bad position like we have it now, just slow down a little bit and the anchor will turn or twist itself and bring it in a good position to put it in properly. The last few meters, just go step by step. Don't let it run all with full power in. Put the safeties back on. Chain safety. We're good to go. We don't have to switch off the remote. We don't have to switch off this one. If we want to, we just press off, and otherwise it will switch off after a minute or so. Good. Opening the main storage, you press the button and it opens. What we store here now is a lot of the covers for the boat as well as the roof cover. And what you see is we have the sunshades, which we're going to install. We have a sunshade for the bow and we have another sunshade for the aft of the boat. That's the one for the bow, which we're going to take and install now. For this we need 2 poles, which are clipped in here. And I'm going to take with me to the front to install the sunshade. One pole goes on starboard, the other one on port. And then the actual shade clicks in here. Clicks in here. And then you have 2 elastic bands which go through here. And then you pull them really tight. and you have the sunshade installed. Good. When you're in the bay, you want to have lunch together. This table folds out, so you can pull out the support here and then fold out the table. You want to turn the chairs, and to turn the chairs, there's a lever which you just lift up, and then you can turn them to have them facing the table. If they don't turn in one direction, as you can see here, they wouldn't fit one direction. You can move them forward or backwards, and then they always fit. It's a bit of a puzzle, but you're going to figure it out. We can open the roof, sliding roof. Just slide it back and you can be in the sun. You can drive with open roof, no speed limits. In the back of the boat, on the aft, on the port side, we have steps. You pull them out and they fold into the water. To put them back in, push them in and down. In total, you have 6 fenders, 3 on each side. For storage, you can put them into these storages, or you can put them into the Anker lockers. In the locker on your port, you as well find your freshwater shower. To use the freshwater shower, the water is going to come out and you twist the head and the water comes out here. You have 88 liters of fresh water on board, so use it to shower, but don't make shower parties. Inside of the cabin, now next to this door, we have another fusion control where we can control the volume of the music as well. We can skip or we can turn it off and off. Lights on and off. There's a 220 plug. This is actually only 220 if we connect it to shore power in the harbor. Underneath we have USB connection. If you connect your phone here, it's working as an iPod device. Same, you have an aux in where you can connect other devices directly to the stereo. Coming to the left here, we have the main fuse box. For us interesting is only the fresh water pump. So we have fresh water in the shower, then the fridges that they are connected, and on the very left we have the macerator pump, which you can press and you can hear a bubbly noise. So you know, when you use the toilet, after using the toilet, and you're not in the anchorage or you're not in the harbor, you want to pump out the wastewater by using the macerator pump. Good. Do we have a toilet? Yes, there's a toilet on board. It's an electric toilet. It's a freshwater flush toilet. We have 2 controls here. Important, if you use the electric toilet on board, you always want to pre-fill some water. That's on the lower button. So you bring some water in, now you do what you want to do, and then you flush everything, and it flushes into the tank. After using the toilet, just fill it again with some water to avoid bad smells. Once used the toilet, don't forget before coming back into the harbor to use the macerator pump to pump everything from the wastewater tank out into the ocean. There's a rule, you have to be 3 miles offshore to do this. Yeah, so I hope you got a first overview over the boat. If you have any more questions, our staff in the harbor will happily assist you. Before coming back, just give us a call, let us know if you have any problems. I hope you will enjoy the day on the boat. See you soon in Port Calanova. We're looking forward to meet you.